Today I'm in the kitchen making old-fashioned oatmeal brown bread. This is a light, flavorful bread where molasses is the star of the show. This classic East Coast treat is now a favorite all over for its sweet, smoky flavor and rich caramel color. I'm Rebecca, welcome to the kitchen. This is how I make oatmeal molasses brown bread. To start, I'm going to add a half a cup of rolled oats and 1 tablespoon of butter into the bowl of a stand mixer, or a large bowl if you're kneading by hand. Pour on top 1 cup of hot water. It doesn't need to be boiling, just hot enough to melt the butter and start to soften the oats. Give it a quick stir to break up the butter and incorporate all the oats into the water. I'm going to set this aside and get the yeast going. In a small bowl or little teacup, add a half a cup of warm water and a pinch of sugar. Mix to dissolve the sugar and then sprinkle 2 1/4 tablespoons or a little package of yeast on top. I'm going to set this aside to get soft and foamy. The sugar at this stage is just to activate the yeast. I'm using brown sugar, but you can swap it out for white sugar if that's what you have. Now that my oat mixture has cooled slightly, I'm going to add the star of this recipe, 1/4 cup of fancy molasses. Add in my yeast and 1 teaspoon of salt. Add in 1 cup of whole wheat flour and stir it into the mixture. For this recipe, I'm going to be using a mixture of whole wheat and all-purpose flour. Now that the molasses is incorporating in, the mixture is turning that nice dark caramel color. Finally, I'm going to add in the 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Knead this for about 5 minutes in the stand mixer. The dough should be smooth and clean the sides of the bowl when it's done. If you're kneading it by hand, knead the dough 8 to 10 minutes or until you have a smooth, elastic dough. Place the dough ball into a large oiled bowl, turn it over to coat lightly in the oil, and cover with a lint-free kitchen towel or cling film until it's doubled in size. This should take anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the temperature of your kitchen, and since I'm in the middle of winter, mine took close to an hour and a half. After the dough is nice and puffed up, I'm going to tip it out onto a lightly floured countertop. Now you can split this into 2 small loaves or 1 large loaf. I'm going to make 2 loaves, so I'm going to split the dough in half and form each into a loaf shape. To do this, I flatten the dough out and fold it into thirds. Then, working in the opposite direction, I'm going to roll it up while pressing it together a few times to create lots of tension inside my loaf. Place in a greased loaf pan, cover again, and let rise in a warm place for about an hour, or until doubled in size. Meanwhile, preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Right before I put the loaf in the oven, I decided to brush it lightly with milk and sprinkle some oats over top. This is purely decorative, but it's a nice touch to make your bread look more bakery-worthy in the end. Bake in the preheated oven for 1 hour, or until it's nicely golden and scents hollow when you tap on it. Wait a few minutes for it to cool slightly, and then it's ready to slice and serve with your favorite meal, or with a good helping of butter on top. Enjoy!